Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Visitor. We live in a very different world than our parents, and even more so, their parents. Gone are the days when we, as employees, are guaranteed our jobs. And in fact, more than ever, we have to work harder and harder to prove ourselves just to keep our jobs. I contend that there's a line we are willing to cross, and that line is becoming more and more gray as we move forward, and that by the end of my speech, I'll actually be able to make you feel a little bit more uncomfortable about how gray that line is becoming. I'm going to give 3 instances of corporate missteps, and I contend and intend to persuade to you, at least some of you here today, that those missteps would never happen if employees were not afraid of losing their jobs. I want to make a point here before I go into these, and that is, 1, these missteps represent real impacts to us as consumers. Number 2, that we don't look at the companies as faceless entities. These companies have employees behind the scenes like you and me making the decisions that lead to these missteps. Example number 1, the skinny on trans fat. Last week, it was revealed that the FDA allows food manufacturers to put 0% trans fat on products if the product contains less than 1/2 gram of trans fat per serving. Manufacturers set the serving size, so what do you want to bet? That the new labeling is going to align with the new 1/2 gram ceiling. Makes sense, right? What's the impact? Well, if you have heart disease and you're diligent about reading these labels, you're going to choose this product because it has 0% trans, or 0 grams trans fat. At the end of the day, you're going to consume more than the recommended serving size because it's not based on average consumption, and you're putting yourself at risk. So you're an employee in one of these companies that's labeling this way, and you look at it this way. Isn't it really up to the consumer to eat the recommended serving size? Isn't it really their problem? How far is too far? Have you ever noticed how big the vegetables are getting lately, or the big plump chickens? I mean, everything seems to be getting bigger. It's called genetic modification. The U.S. produces 53% of the GM products globally. And we also do not require that manufacturers label GM products. So you go, okay, I'm an employee in a company producing GM products, and I'm making a potato that's capable of resisting a virus that could decimate the African harvest. Good, right? Well, there are some serious allergy side effects and unknown human health risks from a new industry. But that aside, manufacturers say it's safe, but they make no effort to label the product, and in fact resist all efforts to make them label the product. But then you look and you go, okay, well, there's not anything directly attributable to human health risks, so there's no big deal. And ultimately, it's a question of education. And if we label it and we don't educate the consumer, they'll be confused, so why label it, right? How far is too far? Baby Soft, third example. Recently, the FDA served Johnson & Johnson for mislabeling some of its products, particularly baby oil. Apparently there's light liquid paraffin oil in the baby oil. So you go, okay, well, what's liquid paraffin oil? It's made from petroleum. Well, it turns out that it's in most adult products that we use, but that the FDA says it contains carcinogens, and it's not healthy for the baby's skin. In fact, doctors back that up, saying that it can clog their pores and cause rashes. So you're an employee in Johnson & Johnson, and you weigh this and you go, okay, well, it's an allergy problem, and really isn't up to the mother to make that decision and discontinue use of the product. Not my problem. How far is too far? Your boss comes to you today and says, you know, I want you to adjust one of the programs that we use to calculate interest here at SunTrust. If the interest is less than 1/2 cent, I want you to round down. If it's more than 1/2 cent, I still want you to round down. You look it up in the internet, there's no specific reference leads you to believe this is illegal. And it really is only half a cent, so no big deal, right? How far is too far? The line that we're willing to cross as employees, I told you, we become more gray. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to us and the lesser of two evils. And it's up to our own consciences to decide. But I contend this is going to have more to play than anything else, as we all want and strive to keep our jobs and support our families. Thank you, Madam Postmaster.